Okay, it's just loading to YouTube, so I'm just going to get the link so I can put it in Facebook in case anybody's looking for us, because it's a bit different today. So Jagpreet, I can see you live on YouTube, but don't worry, it's unlisted, it's private to us, so don't worry. Okay, it's just loading to YouTube. Okay, so right, I just check in, good. Okay, so copy. Okay, this is the YouTube link, and I'll just put that in Facebook. There, and I'll just put it in the academy as well, because there's about 5 different places now. I have to remember to tell people, so let me just put it there. Okay, great. So I think that's everywhere that I can remember. Okay. Let me just check one last thing. So that means if it's on YouTube, that will record. So I won't record it here. I'm just going to get the links. Fine. Okay. Right. One last thing. Okay. Hi, everyone. How you doing?
Hello.
Hi.
Lovely to see you. This is a kind of experiment. Hi, Lady Bayan Jagpreet. That must be Dina, and Andressa is here as well. Great. Andressa, I'm using your model, your essay as a model today because it was excellent on a horrible, horrible topic, wasn't it? Horrible. So let's get started. Right. Feel free to just pop in or pop out because it is a feedback session. Share desktop, hang on, let me share. Yes, share that one and then share that. Okay. Can everybody see that okay?
Yeah.
Great. And Saurabh's here as well. Lovely.
Hi, madam.
Hi, Saurabh. Nice to see you. In the car. Always working.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, actually.
No problem.
I just parked my car.
No problem. Feel free, you don't have to take part. It's just so it could be a bit more interactive. If you've got any questions, it's gonna be like a normal, I'll go through things. Yeah, so feel free, just let me know. Okay, so first of all, the task was this one. Thank you, Jagpreet. Is this the one you had in your test, Jagpreet? Because it's really awful, isn't it?
I saw it that this was the recent question. So that's
Yeah,
why, and it is
yeah.
really awful.
I gave it to my husband to do, and he just went, "Oh my God," because it's so broad, the topic. People become more independent. It's like, in what way? So, what I thought we needed to address was this thing about the modern world. It's immediately suggesting that it's different from life in the past. So I think we really had to deal with that, and because all of your points have to say what's changed, really. And of course, what's changed has to be technology, doesn't it? So that had to come into it somewhere. And also this question about we're more dependent on each other. Again, quite specific. How are we dependent on each other? So I think the introduction had to be set up quite clearly to show the examiner the way you were going to tackle it. So if we look at some suggestions I've got for that, for staying on topic. So whenever you get something like this in the modern world, it's always going to ask you to say what really has changed. So lots of my comments were kind of, well, wasn't that the same in the past? You know, didn't we need solitude in the past? Didn't we have health problems in the past? And I think the ones that stood out as good essays really addressed that question. And I Googled dependent on, and yeah, it really means requiring. It doesn't mean that you want something, but it means you need something. So that was quite important, that you need somebody for financial support or other kinds of support. So little things that we could change here. For example, you said, first of all, people need solitude in life without any interruptions. So what you could do there is this I said, is this a modern thing? You know, even in the past we needed solitude. So what you've got to keep doing is kind of saying how society has changed. So make your point about, you know, people are living so closely together these days, that it's difficult to be independent. And instead of saying maybe people prefer to live with their family due to personal issues, you know, prefer to doesn't mean that you have to. You're dependent on. So why do you have to live with your family? And some people said this because house prices are so high that people have to depend on their parents to, you know, you can't buy a house anymore. Young people struggle. It's all of these political, economic issues, the background, that are going to get you those points. And again, then, instead of saying, because of we have health problems, people need medical care. Well, that was true in the past as well. So what has changed? Well, you could say in the UK, the privatization of the NHS. In the past, it was all free. So we didn't need to depend on anyone. But now we really can't afford health treatment. And again, it's more like a political angle. So instead of saying owing to health problems, you're saying owing to, I don't know, the expense pharmaceutical industry. That's an IELTS topic, you know, how they sell drugs at a very high price. So just switching your argument a little bit.
Ma'am, I have a question. That depend more on each other. Doesn't that mean that depend on family instead of on NHS or something else?
It could be lots of things. That's the thing. It could be lots of things. But what I think happens here is that you need to make your point first. Okay, the point is people have become more dependent on others. But why? What has changed? And the things that's changed is the cost of living has increased. So young people are no longer able to afford their home. Or, you know, the cost of medicine has increased because of privatization. And that's okay to say that. Definitely more dependent on family than before, but it's not because of health problems. That's not what's changed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I didn't specifically get the point of each other because it's so broad. Like each other does
Yeah,
that.
yeah, but that's not my point. My point is this one. The point is you're making the wrong connection with what makes them, because in the past when we didn't have any health, any medicines, then old people were reliant on their family. So it's still true that people are reliant on their family, but maybe for different reasons. People have to, you know, in the past, people left home and started their family. These days, they're delaying that because they can't become independent. And again, it comes to our, you know, the thinking tree. It's an economic problem, basically. It's a political problem. And I think you have to focus on that. Let's have a look at some examples. So Saurabh, sorry, just one more thing then. Underdeveloped countries have dependency on, okay, that's a fact, but has that changed? Is that a new thing? Is it about I keep going back to the question. The question is that in the modern world here, I'll put that in red, it's in the modern world that we have this problem. And so many IELTS questions say that. But from my memory, when I was young, it was a problem then. So, what has changed? And I think that is going to make you stand out. And also on that topic, so maybe you can help me here. The tenses. So look at this one. There are a few important reasons why direct social disconnection increases significantly. Now, I've questioned that tense. Why? Why have I questioned that? And can you change it? And this one, I'm going to question that as well. Go on.
For the first one, sorry. Okay.
Go on. Anybody
Okay,
share?
I was going to talk about the first one, and I expect that we need to use it in the present perfect.
Exactly.
Because,
Exactly.
yes.
Who is that? I can't see you. So I recognize
It's
your voice.
me. It's me. Dina.
Dina. I recognize your voice. Okay, fine, because you've got a picture. Fine. I get it. Okay, no problem. So, yes. So again, this whole thing about something has changed. Now, either you choose direct social disconnection has increased, and then now it's great. It's telling me that you're talking about the change. Or the other option, what could be another option? It's in the middle of change. It is increasing. And both of those now tell me that you're dealing with this question of the modern society. What about this one? Others claim that many people still have been dependent on family financial support. What would you change there?
Maybe still being dependent.
No.
Being is a state verb, isn't it? So you can't say that they are being dependent. Something much simpler.
Has become.
Okay, have become. Yes, sorry, I could just hear you. Have become would be okay again. Sorry, yes, because that relates to the change. Absolutely. Others claim many and then take out still. Yeah. Have become dependent. And, by using this present perfect, you're telling the examiner you're in control of this essay. It's a really nice tense, to start with. We can see while we look at the topic sentences, lots of you did this, and it's immediately addressing that change. Many people, and the simple one would have been just to say are. Or,
yes, this is what I wanted to say in the beginning. Yes.
Oh, sorry. Yes. So just because you're talking about the comparison now between the past and modern day. So just even that, the comparison word, which is in the question, more dependent. Now you're referring to that comparison more clearly. So fine. So we'll look at examples of that. And then this is quite a common. What's the difference between lonely and alone? Which one is a feeling?
Lonely.
Lonely is a feeling. Yes. So do be careful with that. Okay.
Ma'am.
I just want to add something regarding your point of view about the cost of living. So we can say that nowadays youth depend mainly on their parents because of the prices. And from the medical point, we can say that parents depend mainly on youth because of some serious illnesses they suffer from. So they do need their children, their kids to take care of them.
I wouldn't I wouldn't focus on the serious illnesses, because in the past we had serious illnesses. That hasn't changed. But what has changed is that medicine has become unaffordable. People have to mortgage their house. If you live in America, if you get ill, you have to sell your house and go and live with your children.
Ma'am,
So
what about the point of longer lifespan?
Okay, I mean, there's loads of points we could talk about. Absolutely, there's loads of angles. But my point is that your angle should be an academic angle. Let me show you. Okay, so this is Adam's answer. To be honest, Andressa, you're very quiet there, but I preferred yours. I thought he was going off topic, to be honest. But from the start, he's let's just look at how we start essays. So he's really been quite specific about the question. So again, it's the band 7 is you're addressing the essay, being very specific. So Google doesn't like interdependency, but it's correct. Fine. Interaction, interdependent has transformed, he says, in recent years. So it addresses the change and it tells us what he's going to argue because of computerization, and that's undeniable fact. It has changed. Here again, he's going to give both points of view, but he's been a bit more specific. He said it has been empowering for some people. It has made some people a lot more independent. That's his point, but there's a downside. Okay, so his argument is that because we've got the computer and the internet, is that we can do a lot more for ourselves. Basically, that's his argument. So we don't need to rely on people. You know, you Google it, you go on YouTube. You don't have to pay somebody to fix your tap. You learn how to do it yourself. And in the past, we had to just pay somebody to do it. So, okay, that's all right. And then I think he's gone too much into the negative effects. I don't think he's addressed the other side, that it's made us more dependent. So not the best. Whereas if we look at Andressa, so Andressa, thank you for this. Can we just examine it? Andressa has started again with this very specific what has changed. Even this word, the advent of, we talked about it in December. We did the advent calendar and we talked about how useful that word is. That something has changed and it has brought possibilities. And this is what Andressa is very specifically saying in the start. So although it's general, it's specifically related to the question, and it's related to what she'll say later. And she's got the kind of the paraphrase. Okay, that's fine because she's already done something with the language. Normally, I don't like the paraphrase, but it's okay as long as you've done something else. So opinion is very clear, has become more independent. That's the opinion, very clear. Andressa, what about the yellow? What do you think? I think it's your first one today, isn't it?
Contractions are informal.
Okay, fine. So this wouldn't, because the overall essay is so good, it wouldn't hold you back. But as a rule, we try and stick to this, no contractions, informal writing. Okay, now, the other thing I loved about this was, Andressa, if you haven't seen how we use peel paragraphs, you're using one here perfectly. So Andressa relates to the fact that humans have evolved because of the way we depend on each other. So again, I'm thinking, wow, you know, what an analytical argument. What's the example of that? So the point is quite general. You know, that we have evolved to depend on each other. But the point really highlights it here. In the past, everybody basically worked on farms. I don't think you need farm working. Families were important to maintain the farms. You know, for most of our history, up until very recently, people just worked on farms in their family. And they had to help each other. What a brilliant point to illustrate this. You know, it's only recently that things have changed. And this is addressed in a very short sentence. You know, we don't need that anymore. And then it links back to the question. In that sense, people are more financially independent, okay, so what, which allows them to choose different paths. It comes back to the question. People have become more independent. In a very simple way, she said that. Comes back to the question. So people are more independent. Now, other point of view. Although, so it addresses the, okay, all right, we might have got more independence, but this lovely, we still need this to be social. Example, the current pandemic. Now, this was very clever. She used this as an example, not as a point. The point was more general. We need each other. Let's take the pandemic as an example of that point. And then she develops it here. Now, the only thing, Andressa, I thought the last one, it seems to stop. And I thought here you could again link it back to the question. That's the only thing. But what I loved about the conclusion, I believe technology has brought us together. There's this kind of final thought. Being isolated and independent are not synonyms. Wow, you know, you can be both isolated and independent. Yeah, it doesn't mean that it's negative. We still count on one another in moments of need. I just loved this. It's probably 8+. Andressa, so as you know, I don't give exact scores. I kind of say above 7 or below 7. But I think this one is really outstanding, how we could learn from this one. So well done. Is that okay, everybody?
Yes.
Okay, great. So if we take that as something to refer back to, Jovi, so time is 13:20. I think, Jovian, with a lot of people, this kind of paraphrasing the question is we know it's dangerous. So some people believe dependency is a necessary part of routine. I thought that's not really the question. It's not about routine. It's about, you know, routine is getting up, going to bed. But here it's about fundamental.
Maybe tradition or all the customs to be one family to work together in the same field.
Yeah, I mean, I could change a lot of it, but just highlighting a few things about, do you believe it? Do they believe it is, or is it just a fact? So if you know, I think it's just mixing up fact and opinion again. If you've got a general statement, then make it as a fact. Dependency is a necessary part of our lives. You know, even some, okay, I'm writing it fast now. Our lives. But now you'd say other people, but some argue we have become more independent over the last few years, or whatever. So again, I'm keeping it general. So it's still a general statement, but you've got your opinion here, so it's fine, Jovi. It's just that awful, not your awful, but the problem of the first line is so hard to be general and specific at the same time. But you've got a nice topic sentence there. I just questioned whether you were going off topic, and a tendency to say the same point too many times without developing it. So remember, for a band 7, it's development of the points, whereas band 6 is making points. So you've kind of said that they have to look after their children, but then you've said, okay, they have to look after their children again. And then you've kind of said they're too busy to do anything. So I felt it was repeating the same point, and I'm not sure that relying on services and products is the same on relying on other people, because even in the past we got people to wash the car and clean the clothes. I don't think it's a change in modern society, but you could disagree with me.
Ma'am, I have a point that the first line in the introduction, that dependency is necessity, but it was the necessity in the past too. So it's not saying that it has increased.
Okay, fine. I mean, you know, we could go through every line in detail, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to look at a general trends. I have marked them all. So this, Jovi, was excellent. That's good. And then I thought maybe just a final thought might, again, individuals are more dependent. They still need help from others. Yeah, I just something to finish it. But actually, if I took that out, would it be okay? Oh, I like a final thought. Okay, we'll look at some examples in a minute. So, yeah, a tendency to repeat a similar point in different ways. I think just decide what are your 2 points and one example for each one. But the language here is very accurate. And I think for you, Jovi, just this development idea would really help your score. Bayan. Yes, no, Bayan, if you're quite new to the Academy, my opinion on paraphrasing, everybody knows, which is it's okay for a band 6, but not for a band 7. So it's a very basic strategy, but I can point you to my lesson on why it's not a good reason. And one of the reasons it doesn't work is that it creates unnatural language. So a sort of human being is people. You don't need to you don't need to invent language which causes errors. Now you're paraphrasing think, and you're putting guesses is wrong. It's not the right word. So it causes errors. If it's going to cause errors, you're better off sticking to something simple. Some people believe nowadays society is more likely to depend, or people are. Yeah, because you said each other, then you'd have to say people are. Now you've got a simple and correct sentence, but it's too close to the question, and that is the other problem of that's the other problem about paraphrasing. I don't recommend it, and I don't teach it, and we can kind of see what problems it causes there. Again, you're changing narrate. You just need discuss. Simple words are better. Both thoughts. It's not a thought. It's an opinion. It's a point of view. And instead of at the end, you can learn this. I will argue. That's all you need. But this is a really nice point, Bayan. You're using your own language there, and it's lovely. Okay, so when I said about what is your point or what is an example, you've kind of taken the example, but this is your point. I mean, this is just in the last year, isn't it? That's the problem with this example. This isn't about the modern world. The pandemic is a year or a year and a half. So although it's good as an example, you could say, we've learned that we need to rely on each other, for example, during the pandemic, blah, blah, blah. But I wouldn't use it as a main point. The other things, just watch a few informal features, like humdrum is not academic, strolling is not academic, exhaustion is a little bit non-academic as well, because it assumes everybody is exhausted due to daily routines and exhaustion. Well, not everybody's exhausted, so a few just check in your, what did I say? Informal words, stick to formal academic language. And what I wanted to discuss in more depth was this point about what's the difference between a point and an example. So a point may be, yeah, this isn't because of the pandemic. So the point may be that people will always be dependent on each other, and the pandemic has shown this to be true, possibly. Let's have a look at a few more examples of that. What did I say there, Bayan? Sorry, let me just move. That's better. Thanks a lot. Then what band? Okay, don't worry about bands. You know, we try not to focus on bands at this stage. We can go into more detail in when you get closer to the exam, but I either say it's above or below a 7. So today is not quite 7. Well, it's not 7. Sorry, that always doesn't look very nice. It's not 7 today, just because of, I would say that is the main thing to work on. Work on your introduction, and go back to the boot camp lessons, and it's got lots of examples how rewriting the introduction causes all kinds of problems. Is that okay, Bayan?
Yes, okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
But it will come with time. Right.
Madam, just sorry to interrupt you.
Go on.
Madam, I think this meeting is not being recorded. Could you please check it?
It isn't, but it's on YouTube. I thought it's going to be recorded on YouTube.
Please check.
I'm pretty sure I did double check it was on YouTube, but thank you, because it's not my strong point. Right. If we go here, sorry, Jabri, that's you.
Just sorry to interrupt you.
That's fine. Go on. It's definitely on YouTube there, isn't it? I mean, I could record it. I don't mind recording it, but okay, maybe shall I do it just in case? Is that okay with it? You have to give your permission and stuff, don't you? Hang on. Right, if I press record, does it ask you for your permission?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's carry on with that then. And where was I? Share screen. Okay, great. Thanks, Sarah. No, it's fine. If you notice anything, please interrupt. Okay, lady, I said reword this, be more specific. Constant develop puts pressure on the way we interact. I was thinking, how does it put pressure on the way we interact? So again, it's the first line problem, but apart from that, what did I say? Hang on, the second half is 7, first half is 6. You've tackled it well. Try to be more specific. What does independence on people mean? Okay, all right, again, it's all about being specific. So you said those relationships may have dependence or independence on people. That's just too vague. So this is much better. Passing of time, relationships, it's still a bit vague. It's still saying the same thing as you said there, isn't it? Do you see what I mean? And then this is quite vague. I believe majority of those relationships are independent and possibly off topic, lady. It's the topic is whether we are becoming more dependent. So let's see what you said. Right, second, I've said unclear logic. Why do we need to strengthen our bonds? Who says we need to? People are spending time in work. Okay, so your point is that modern society has become expensive and busy. I guess that's what your point is. High expectation. I see that point. but then you go straight into this very specific example. And you don't then, where's the so what sentence? Lady, are you with me? Are you still there?
Yes, I can hear
Yeah.
you.
Can you see what my problem is? I don't know.
Yes, because I don't know how to develop this paragraph with dependency on
Okay.
other people.
If we look at your
And
second
I
one.
was, yes.
Sorry, lady. Your second one is great. See, it seems to be perfect. So you've clearly said these are the reasons why people are becoming more independent. Okay, so your reason is social media for communication. That's a good point. Perfect. In the past, and you're making this comparison, this is what you need to do. We had to make a call. It's specific or talk personally. It's concise. But now a simple message, social media, might help us to communicate. As a consequence, the so what sentence may lead to increasing independence. So you've got your peel paragraph is there. So I can see you're doing it. I would keep out health problems at the moment because that's not your point. I want to see what your second point is. Secondly, these develop societies. Now, again, it's the tense thing. So if you can just remember, you're talking about comparison. So have transformed most citizens of their city into self-sufficient people. For example, exchange. Okay. For example, exchange or work for both. They travel alone, have to develop independence. Okay, that's a nice example. This is a lovely paragraph, but this paragraph, I couldn't get your point clearly enough, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. But this is nice. To conclude, there are more reasons I believe that these decreasing may have a detriment. Okay, that's lovely because you're very clear. Opinion is clear, conclusion clear. So I can see you've got the language for it. It was just, I think, on this occasion, just the question made you go a bit off topic. A little bit, but not just you. Honestly, everybody did. And I didn't even try to do it, so I have no excuse. Okay, lovely. So Slava. Slava, I'm just seeing a lot of repetition, and this again is yet another problem. Not you, Slava, but the problem of paraphrasing the question. Because what happens, it means you're going to paraphrase it here, and then you're going to use it here, and then you're going to use it again in the conclusion. So paraphrasing the question leads to faulty language or repetition and other things. So if I quickly jumped back to, let's say, what did Andressa do? Okay, it's quite a long introduction. And yes, she did have a one line there, but this meant that she avoided all of that, avoided the repetition. And yeah, it's a skill that we need to develop. So we're not repeating, keep saying the same, more dependent, less dependent, blah, blah, blah. But apart from that, this was a really nice, first of all, life has become more challenging because the cost of living. So you've got to the heart of the matter. There's a change, everything's more expensive, and you've got a lovely example there, Slava. Young people relying, property prices are higher than ever before. You're making that comparison, and then they'll never be able to afford it. And you've got this, what is the impact of this? This means both parents are working, so the support from grandparents and babysitters is just a little example. That's all we need. But the point is here. The point is life has got more expensive, more busy. People have to work more. It's that kind of cycle. So this was an excellent example of a paragraph there. Here again, most people had one really good paragraph and one a little less. Students have due to many of them choosing to part-time jobs. Okay, so I guess it was more about the strength of your argument here. Many of them choosing to do part-time jobs. Well, I did a part-time job 40 years ago, 30 years ago. So I don't think it's something that's changed. The same studying abroad. I know it's not just me, but it's not something that's changed because of modern society. So this one wasn't such a great Peel paragraph, Slava, but this one was. If you can keep doing this one, you'll be fine. And again, that conclusion just repeats what you already said. There's not much language in there, and I need the language to give you the 7. So you aced. That's a funny spelling, but you aced paragraph 2. But the repetition would keep you from 7 in this case, Slava. Okay, Jagpreet, 1339. What did we say? Can I just look at my overall? I think you've tackled it well. Some might argue the health argument is not the strongest. Okay, Jagpreet, I understand now. You're saying, okay, Jagpreet, do you have a very good medical vocabulary?
No, it's just that I didn't get any idea how we become dependent. I think I should
Okay.
have talked about life expectancy has increased in the modern world.
Okay. What I thought is very often people with a medical background often try to stuff the essay with medical examples. I'm not sure if that's true of you, but it seems I don't know if that's what you were doing, but the language is fantastic. If you can do that and it's relevant, then do it. But I thought it was kind of odd choice to talk about the cancer thing, which you seem to dwell on. I mean, that could be, again, it could be one little example of people not being able to afford healthcare, but I wouldn't rely on that for the whole paragraph, I think. And also you said in your introduction you're going to talk about health problems, but then you talk about all the good things, which is a nice paragraph. This was really nice. But then in the conclusion, you only talked about the illnesses again. So it was kind of a little off balanced in some way. Let's see what's good then. Modern world has made people financially more independent. Yes, excellent point. Because in the past they were dependent on head of family. Fantastic point. The comparison. Access to education. Fantastic. Result, increased employment opportunities. Fantastic. Even the example that you've chosen on top of that is fantastic. So all of that is the right thing, Jagpreet. This is band 7-8 here. I can't fault it. And then maybe just watch out that that's not too vague when you come back to the question. Is that okay, Jagpreet? Okay. So this is I don't know. Let's say this rise in independent living has brought many benefits. Something like that, just a bit more specific to what you were saying. Okay. Okay, so you've said, even though modern era has brought some advantages. Okay, so you have mentioned now the advantages there. Okay, fine. So just a little unbalanced, Jagpreet. Half excellent, half I would question, but so close. Your exam is tomorrow, isn't it?
It is on 10th.
On the 10th, okay. Okay, fine. Okay. I think on the day you'll be fine. I really do. The trouble is you have to be 7.5 before the exam, because on the exam day you have the nerves
Yeah.
and everything. I think you'll pull it together on the day.
I was short of ideas for the dependency.
Oh,
That's why.
yeah, let's forget it. It's just the question. You know, if you can tackle this question with a very excellent paragraph like that, you'll be fine with a normal question. I'm sure you will.
Thanks, ma'am.
No worries. Ahmad, something strange for you as well. Yeah, I don't think you're here, but what was strange about yours, Ahmad, is that this is totally 100% excellent and perfect, whereas this isn't at all. So there's a huge difference between what you wrote there and what you wrote there. I mean, this is almost like a publishable article. So I did, honestly, I Googled it. I couldn't find it, but I wondered, because if you wrote it, then excellent. But the same problem of paraphrasing the question comes up here. Contemporary life has a great impact on life. Doesn't make sense. How can you say life has an impact on life? Didn't life in the past have an impact on people's lives? So it's just, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Well, many people believe modern era leads to, can anybody correct this? It's a tense problem.
As imperfect has led to.
Has led to. Always, if you're talking about a change, has led to an independent life, I support the view people rely more on each other than decades ago. And don't mention rural or urban. It's because it's not mentioned in the question. It's not relevant. So this is lovely language, but I wouldn't say that they like. It's not about like. It's not about what you prefer. It's about dependency, which means you have no choice. Then, so introduce the opposite point of view with a link. Just again, it's the examples here. People depend on each other for basic necessities such as building a house. Well, do you see what I mean about basic necessities such as building a house? I don't think people do. They just pay somebody to do it. I don't think that's an example of depending on each other. I mean, in the past we did, because, you know, the community needed each other to help build a house, but I don't know. High-tech products, just something we buy. Cars and TVs is something we buy. I don't think it means we depend on others. It is illogical for individuals to learn all of those skills. Well, yes, but same in the past. Nobody could have all the skills to buy things to make things they need. Okay, so yeah, again, a mix, half and half. Ahmed, the first paragraph, good. But the second kind of illogical paragraph would limit you to 6, I'm afraid, in this one. Okay, can we I'm just checking who's here, and just for security of all of us, somebody's got a title administrations. I don't want to chuck anybody out, but I need to know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
you, it's fine. It's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm happy.
It's no problem, as long as I know who.
Okay.
Great. Okay. Fong 1347. Lovely. Let me just have a quick look what I said. Probably overall 7. You could add something more specific to the intro and a final thought to the conclusion. So more specific again. Modern world means greater responsibility and financial pressures. Okay. Right, so that in itself is okay, but it hasn't linked to this one. This is a completely new statement. I don't see the connection between this first line. This is about pressure of life, and this is about dependency. So I just need more of a link there. And then if you look at that, is there any real new language there? This, I agree with the latter school of thought for several reasons, is arguably memorized. And this is come straight from the question. So Fong, I know you can do more than that because I can see in the rest of it. So that might be for an examiner, it might put you in the lower band and you have to keep building through the rest, which you do. You do that very well. This paragraph is fantastic. So you've talked about people rely on their parents due to the climbing property prices. Yes, you know, it's again, what has changed? But I like this idea that, you know, that we are hardwired, whatever era we live in. You're still referring to modern era. I side with those who believe people are right. Good. Nice example. Vietnamese youngsters. Increasing emergence, local financial institute. Oh, fantastic. All of this examples is relevant and developed. Okay, I just questioned that, but don't worry about that. Given the influence of technological advancements, social transformation, convinced that people are becoming more independent. Okay, yeah, but you said that. You've already said that. So I want something a bit more, I don't know, something nicer to round it off, because that just repeats what you've already said. And this is a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. So something to finish it off. I don't know, are you here, Fong? I thought you were here earlier. Okay, well done, Fong, nice one. Okay, Kieran, stupid me, I didn't realize, I was marking it and I was thinking about it so much that I didn't realize that it's way too long. And yesterday I had a student and she wanted to join the academy because she'd been through, she said she'd done IELTS Advantage, she'd done, what else was it? Oh, my IELTS classroom, she'd gone through all of them. And she said nobody was telling her that she was writing 370 words and nobody had told her that that was going to cause a problem. And I couldn't believe it. So what's my what's my message on word count?
280 at max.
300.
280 at max.
280 max, 300 max, yeah.
No.
And yeah. So Kieran, I'm sorry, I should have asked you to go back and correct to change it. But I think I was kind of I was thinking a lot about it as I was going through. And the reason I was thinking about it was the thing we talked about at the start. You've got the points. If you could just twist them. So as we said, instead of saying about the health problems, that you turn the blame on how society, you know, yeah, the healthcare system or the education system has become privatized. So here where you said about, okay, universities charge a handsome amount. Okay, that's a little informal. Handsome amount is a lovely word. So they charge large fees or high fees. Okay, now this is a really good point, because I don't know about you, you are all young, but in my day it was free, you know, it was free for everyone. Anybody could go to university. So what happened? Well, I don't know what you think, but probably the two things what happened, is the growing population. The government just couldn't afford to pay for everybody's education because there were suddenly millions of people. And the other thing is universities changed from being places of learning, unfortunately, to businesses. The government said, we're not giving you money anymore. You'll have to make your own money. So that's what's changed in the last 20 years. It might depend on your country, but I think this is a really good point. So yes, young people are much more dependent on their elders. A really good point, because of university change and house prices, maybe population growth. All of that is there. You just needed to tweak it, to twist it round a little bit. So, very good points. And what did we say here? Others claim many people have become, isn't it? Have become a simple change. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Kiran, good. So I know it looks like I've corrected a lot, but if you had reduced it, I'm sure you would have taken out this kind of unnecessary things, and it would have been a very nice essay. Did you do it in 40 minutes?
No, it's more than 40 minutes.
Okay, well, try and focus on that 40 minutes, because that might make you reduce the word count, and focus on those 2 points, maybe just 2 points. Population growth, health system, whatever you choose.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. Hang on, it's extremely hot. I'm opening the window. Hang on, so it doesn't make a noise. Okay. Saurabh, what did we say with you? I think, Saurabh, language, a huge improvement for you. But the topic threw you a bit. I think you were talking about people being reliant on like businesses or inventions or products, but the question is dependent on each other, not on things or inventions. And then, so in this paragraph, I found it really, I couldn't find anything where you referred to that. So accolades, I'm not sure what it is. People have become, which have had multiple, again, keep it simple. Effects on their life. Some people think this could create dependency. Okay. Anybody here? What do we think? I completely agree with the latter notion, which I would discuss.
I will discuss.
We'll discuss, Dina. Thank you. Why? It's
I
not a
will.
condition. Yeah, keep it simple. You know, we can all learn these expressions, which I will discuss in this essay, is fine. And I think also, Saurabh, you kept referring to what people think about, and in a sense, that's not, again, they're not asking you to discuss what people think. They want to know what you think. So instead of saying there's reasons why people agree, it would be better to say there are many reasons why people have become more independent, and then that is focusing again on the question. 2 major reasons why people have become more, okay, whatever one you choose, dependent on each other. Okay, I know we need to avoid repetition, but let's just go with that. And the main and most convincing reason is scientists have invented certain products. So I'm going to take that out and say, okay, main reason is technology. That's the main reason. Why is technology the main reason? Well, then you'd have to give a very good example of that. And okay, your example is advent of technology, which which people have come to rely on. Okay, so they're more relying on technology. For example, I just don't think this example is supporting your argument. I mean, there are hundreds of things where there's the only one manufacturer. But it doesn't mean we're dependent on them. You know, there are alternatives. So the example isn't supporting your argument. And then here, your second argument, as we said before, I don't think that's something that's changed. So Saurabh, it's not your language here. It's more your points. And again, forget about this thing about what people believe. Say what you believe. Having said that, so the internet could connect. Technology also means that the internet can or has or can. Okay, can connect anyone. If people had not benefited from these, you're trying to put a third conditional, Saurabh. I know what you're trying to do. Wouldn't have grown vertically. You're trying to squeeze third conditional in when you don't need it. So I'm going to take that out. Technology means internet can, therefore. Okay, and then question of independence needs to come in here. How has that made people more independent? So just the topic, Saurabh, for you today. I think Saurabh's driving. So
no, I am listening actually.
Okay, so language, great. Your language has so much improved, Saurabh. It's perfect now for academic writing. Just maybe this question. Do you think?
And it is my most common mistake. Whenever I write third conditional, it looks like I am squeezing it anywhere.
It does, because it wasn't about that. Yeah, okay.
How can I get rid of that?
Don't try to squeeze in a third conditional. Think about the argument, really. Yeah. What are you trying to say? Think about the argument. I mean, you do that sometimes, Saurabh. So at one point that will come together. You've got the arguments, you've got the language. That will come together. You're getting closer and closer every time. I promise you.
Okay. Then I should be a member of Academy for next 1 year.
No, it's almost there. It's almost there.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, Pam, there's been
Yeah, I'm here.
You're here. Hi, Pam. Sorry, administrations.
Hi.
Okay. There's been substantial change in social connection. Yes, I said yes. Actually, that's okay. Now I look at it again. There has been a substantial change in social connection over the last... Okay, let's forget my point there. Right, ignore me, Pam. That was fine.
I'm not sure that for this one I'm off topic or not. I'm not quite sure by now.
Let's see. Some people believe there has been more social isolation. Others argue that people are more socialized. You mean less? Because you said more there. More isolation. No, I see what you mean. Okay, I was a little confused.
Yes. More, yes.
Okay. Yeah, socialized. Is it a different meaning from being independent? Socialized means that you're able to talk to people and communicate in terms of you've got the personal skills, I guess. I don't know. Let's come back to that. Okay. Although people have less face, they tend to stay closer and have stronger ties by using social media. Okay, fine. I'm thinking as an examiner. Okay, interesting. This is going to be interesting. few important reasons. Why direct social? All right, what about tense there, everybody?
Present perfect.
Present perfect, right?
Yes.
Have.
Yeah, because you're saying it's a change, aren't you? You've already said there, you've got present perfect. That's a lovely use. So keep that dimension. Social has increased. Fortunately, there is.
It has changed. Has changed.
A change in family structure, because you said used to be extended. Now this is nice. This is the point that somebody, was it Alessandra, made about that we used to all live on the farm and help each other. Extended families, now nuclear families. Okay. Yes, good point. Alteration of social norms whereby status and money is another reason. Okay, so this is your second reason. That social norms have changed. So your first reason is family structure. That's clear because you've told me that's your first reason. You've told me the second reason is social norms. I thought this is not a result. Your result is here. So this is an example. So let's say, okay, just a small thing. For example, people have to spend more time studying and work in order to achieve good. As a result, people may have less I think this is a lovely paragraph now. Lovely. So if you had that present perfect, I think, 7+ there for that paragraph. When it comes to why people live closer, okay, I think that's fine. Now, your main point is technology. Good. Mobile phones, networks, social media platforms, for example, provide more connection. Yeah, lovely. So you've illustrated your point very clearly, very simply. People are able to keep in touch and it's cheaper. And then you've got your second point. Not only do these technologies offer more convenience, also enhance social ties. You're always saying, what is the effect? Enhance social ties. Good. You've got an example. Join these events, become part of members. And you've brought it back to the question. Again, so important. You're telling the examiner, look, this is why this is important, because it's enabled these relationships, which, okay, you could say it's off topic because, no, it's good. It's fine. I like it. In summary, though people have less direct communication, you're very specific. Okay, it's less direct, but ties are stronger because of technology. Now, that's exactly what you've argued, but it's not repetitive. Last thing, anybody? It should be better.
It might be better.
I think so. Yeah, I think, may, might, maybe, would, maybe even second conditional. It may be better if people could then, balance their relationships in real life and social media. Okay, so Pam, I thought possibly off topic in places, but with this question, what can we say? So I think everything there is a clear 7 for me, Pam. So very happy with that. Well done.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. Elham, don't worry if you need to leave, everybody. Don't feel you have to stay. No problem at all. Okay, Elham, just the first line. Many people tend to be more self-governing and separated than in the past. So it just seemed a strange place to start, Elham, that you've gone straight into, this isn't a fact, it's an opinion. Because there's no evidence there that people are more self-governing. In this essay, I will examine whether people are becoming, so you just said in the first line, you said they are becoming. And now you're saying in this essay, I will discuss which one is true and argue that most people have been living in isolation. More people are living, isn't it now? More people are living in isolation. Most people are living in isolation more than any time Okay, so if we took that opinion out, yeah, it's difficult because of that, because that's like your opinion and then you're saying it again there. So that really, Elham, needs to be some kind of background statement before you start. But this was great. So your point is people want to be more independent. Women empowerment. I thought that was a really nice point as well. Many young people have a recent tendency to move away from their parents' homes in their early teens. Okay, again, why? Why is that a recent tendency? That's my question. What is the modern society change that has caused that? Because we've just kind of said the opposite as well. We've said, you know, people can't afford to move away and they have to live with their parents because of the cost of living. So it might just be different in your country, and in which case, just point that out as an example. So I think if you went with the technology thing, technology has allowed us to become more independent, and therefore young people can find a job online and don't need to work and live with their parents. Maybe in the same way here, this is good for women's empowerment. I think that is an important thing, actually. It's an important point. So encourage women to enjoy more freedom, be less reliant on men. I think that's an important point, yeah. Therefore, people tend to be more self-reliant, free from dependency. So that's a lovely link back, Elham, yes. Okay, again, people who believe... Okay, employment people... I thought that was a little don't need it, off topic. And I wasn't sure about this argument. I think Jovi had a similar argument, is that we rely on people to do work for us. Wasn't that always true? Doesn't that just depend on your class, if you can afford people to do that? I don't know. You may disagree with me. But that's lovely, nice conclusion. Okay, so this is really nice, Elham, much improved. The occasional unnecessary information, it was a strong essay. So getting closer to 7 there, not quite. Fix this. This would make a difference, I think. Yeah, work a little bit on introductions. Okay, Kathy, last one, I think, so you can all go home and have a nice weekend.
Yes, I'm here.
You're here, Kathy. Great. Okay, lovely. And
I'm sorry delayed today.
Okay, that's fine. Let me just check in the chat. Oh, right, you're in the chat. Fine. Okay. Right, what did I say? Hang on, Kathy. Sophisticated response to a difficult subject. Okay, so let's see. Humans are, I'm not sure are social living creatures. Again, kind of redundant, repetitive. Humans are social living creatures, and some people, there's a certain degree of bonding is necessary. That's a nice point. That's a nice point. There are many reasons why people are. You kept saying feel, but the question is it a fact? Do you see what I mean?
Yes, actually, I want to use the other way round to say actually it's independent rather than dependent.
For this example, okay, do you mean, okay, so there are many reasons why people are more independent nowadays. Great. Thanks to advanced technology, a wider Zoom, good, mean that we can easily interact without limitation. Good, without limitation of place or time. Very nice, concise. For example, students studying overseas therefore, I believe, helps us to be more supportive rather than dependent. Okay. Having said, there's no doubt some individuals are dependent. Right, so this one was independent and this one is dependent. I think we're not talking about being too dependent. So let's stick with dependent. People have different while dealing with problems. For example, teenagers don't need would, difficulty completing tasks just because they may have insufficient confidence. Okay, as a result, they rely more on someone instead. Okay, fine. So that's linking it back to the question. Yes. Yes. To sum up, I believe employees should ask for assistance or have difficult, simply just share. Happy, what am I going to say about happy?
Informal.
It's emotional language, isn't it? Yes, it's not academic language. And in that sense, then it's informal. Yeah. What could we say instead? I'm thinking everything would be like precious is too informal.
Happiness.
Happiness, again, it's emotional.
Just simply elicit their feelings.
Delighted or relaxed?
Hang on.
Relaxing time?
Really difficult. I'll just simply share.
Valuable time. Yeah.
Free time. Free time.
Valuable.
Downtime.
Downtime, I was thinking. It seems a little slang, but it's perfect here because it relates to what you said. It's kind of relevant to what you said about this, is that we can interact with relatives. So I think downtime would be good.
Yes.
Or elicit their feeling with family and friends.
Flowery. I think this is simply factual, is that you spend your free time with family and friends because of technology.
And I say precious time or precious moment.
Emotional.
Okay.
No, emotional.
So I won.
You won, Dina. Yeah. Okay. Great. Kathy, I don't know. I think I probably, because it's so clear and easy to follow, as an examiner, I'd probably give you 7. I'm just thinking, would these things...
Actually, I'm worried about the second paragraph, maybe some off topics, but I'm not sure because I didn't mention I didn't compare actually.
Slightly, yeah, good. Well, you're seeing things for yourself. I see what you mean slightly. You weren't talking about the changes. You were talking about that everybody... Okay, all right. Let's go with 6.5. Not quite 7 there, but on the way.
Yeah, I feel I cannot reach 7.
Well, everybody does, and it is the worst hurdle for everybody. It really is.
It's really difficult for
I
me.
know. But you know, these days, well, not these days, but what they're expecting with a 7 is to be able to read it straight through. I'm looking at Andressa's again. Without the examiner doesn't kind of want to be questioning anything. What keeps me from giving a 7 is because I kind of got confused or I questioned something. Whereas in this lovely example from Andressa, it's so simple, and that is the skill of a 7. It's simple but complex at the same time. That is so hard to achieve. It really takes... I know, and it's depressing as well.
But this question is truly hard. Okay,
the question was awful. I mean, even I wouldn't have given my husband a band 7 for this one. I think he went.
I think this is not an IELTS actual question.
No, I've seen it. I googled it, and I think it has come up something similar, something very similar. So
not the one, madam.
But it doesn't matter. The point is, you should be able to address any question that they give you. So it's not about what the question is; it's how you tackle it. So, you know, what we're doing in these lessons is learning to tackle difficult questions and what they expect. So it really doesn't matter. Go on.
I think
Ma'am,
it needs somebody who is talented enough in writing, not normal people like us.
Well, I think what's unfair is that people expect you to get 7 in writing, because the people I know from other groups, other teachers that I teach, you know, there's really highly qualified doctors who can't get 7, and yet they can do their job perfectly well, you know, without being able to write a band 7 essay. That's the unfair thing to me. All of you can do your jobs perfectly without getting a band 7, and it's just, you know, why are they asking people to get band 7? And maybe they'll one day will realize that the exam isn't right. You know, it's kind of not about your English abilities. It's about why they expect you to get 7 in writing an essay. So,
ma'am, as today is my last task too, so I would like a piece of advice.
go on.
So, like generally, my first line is not that good. So, is it okay today? The first general statement. Generally, I make mistake in that. And any advice you would want to give me? I still have 7 days to work on.
Okay, have you done all my lessons about the first line?
Not quite.
Okay,
But feedbacks I have taken from you every Friday.
lovely. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else I would say really apart from all the things I've said before. Not too general, relate it to the question, and don't paraphrase the question. That's my main advice.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, well, this was a horrible question, but you've tackled it well, given the circumstances. So what was I going to ask you? I was going to ask you something. Oh, I've completely forgotten. No, oh, right. What I was going to ask you was doing it like this on Zoom. I don't know, is that better for you than having just a YouTube video? I don't know.
Yes, yes, yes.
Is it?
Madam, it is
Yes.
definitely beneficial.
Is it?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Interactive and really true.
Okay. I mean, today we didn't have so many essays. My worry about it was before that we'd be here for 3 hours, and it would, not just for me, but for you, you'd be waiting and waiting because of the interaction and stuff. But I think if it's quite a small group, it works. You know, that everybody can get a chance to ask questions and stuff. But yeah, I think as long as we stay this kind of small group, we'll be okay.
Do you have any plans for July? I'm waiting.
I'm thinking, I have a huge
Surprise.
plan. I
It
have a
is
huge
surprise.
plan.
Surprise? Oh my God.
Yeah.
But it won't be ready. I was planning it to start on Sunday, but it won't be ready for Sunday. Possibly next Sunday, but I don't. There's 2 plans going on, Dina, and the one plan is to completely change the whole website to a different website.
Okay.
And
I expected that we are going to have another camp in July, as you mentioned before.
yes, the thing is with those camps is that they take up every hour of the day. I know it doesn't look
Yes.
like it, but when I do those camp things, they just take up so much time that everything else gets delayed. So again, I'm thinking in terms of what's best for you, and this new platform is just a lot more. It's just got a lot more that you can do, like gamification.
Interactive.
Yeah, you can get badges, and it's just another level above. I mean, yeah. And if I'm going to move to that one, it just means I need to think about the best way to do that. And one thing I thought about doing is just to move this boot camp in July and just do that boot camp on this new platform and just focus on that. but it means everybody would have to have another login to a different platform, which is okay. It's just a click and stuff. I thought I might do that, and then you can tell me what you think of the platform, and we can experiment with it as a boot camp, and maybe that's better before I start to move everything into it. Maybe you don't like it. Maybe you'll say, "Oh, I don't like it." I don't know. So that's my plan.
Please do experiment. No worries. We will be there.
Shall I show you? I'll show you. Hang on. It's called Learn Worlds, and I showed it to Will, and he said, "Oh my God, yes, it's amazing. It's really amazing." How do I share again? Okay, I'll share that one. Is it? Have you ever heard of it?
No, this is the first time to see.
It's quite new. This is my only worry, is that it's new because it's supposed to be more modern and fun and interactive and stuff. But whenever anything is new, you start worrying and you think, is it really that good? Is it, you know, if it's new, has it been tested? You know, will it, if I spend hours creating it, then will they just go bankrupt? You just don't know. That's my worry. But it does look really, really nice, doesn't it? It's kind of fun and friendly, and
You are such a techie person. That's the thing that I like about you.
I'm a what? Fussy.
Yes, you are always up to date about technology, using different stuff. Yes, I feel that every time I come to your class or even the camp or even walking around the website, I find many things. They are very valuable and beneficial. But the thing that I hate about them, that I have a lot of things. What should I do? I want to watch this and I want to do this. And
I know. I'm constantly doing that, Dina, because like yesterday I learned that you could build an app on this thing called Glide, and I thought, oh my God, I could do a Members Academy app. And I spent about 12 hours trying to work out how to create this app. And I've got to focus. There's too much tech stuff now. I mean, it's all good, but I agree, there's too much. But if you don't do it, you fall behind.
Yes.
And I think for learners of English, it's really beneficial to keep up with it, I think. So I'll keep going.
You are so dedicated, Fiona.
But for today, as Zoom meetings, I think it's a good idea to build a community.
Yes, yeah, I mean, that's what's lovely about it. It really is. It's lovely. Yeah, that's definitely, because I really enjoyed the speaking class that we had
Madam,
last week.
I supposed to tell you that thing. Please conduct more and more speaking sessions.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what the point of the challenge was. The July challenge is supposed to be a speaking challenge. So that is the plan. I just need to organize it.
I expected that it will be task one challenge. I expected that. I didn't expect it will be speaking.
Oh, well, that's another one I want to do. I want to do a task one writing challenge as well. Yeah. And a general and academic. So that's another. So 1 month general, 1 month academic, a 1 month speaking challenge. It just takes so much time. And I will get there though. I will do it.
But you can rock.
Yes, it will happen. Yeah. Okay. Great. Right. Thank you, guys. I'll say bye. Thank you for your patience today, as always.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us today.
No,
Waiting for you next Friday.
Lovely. Okay.
Before that
Bye, guys.
as well.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
I'll see you in Will